I think it's good for him to move up. I think obviously he was a big weight cut for him. He's obviously getting bigger, growing. I think it's a good move for him. I just think it's bad timing.
Welcome back to Against the Cage. Scott Fontana here in studio with the UFC Welterweight Champion, Jack Della Maddalena. He is getting ready to headline UFC 322 next Saturday in his first title defense against Islam Makhachev. Now, Jack, we were just talking about the fact that you've actually been to New York before. How much of this is going to be a work trip for you versus afterward, maybe you get a little bit of time to be a tourist?
Yeah, I mean, well, we got in a bit early, so we've been here for a couple of days now. So we've just been getting into the lifestyle. So been pretty. I feel like we're getting good training in, but also just enjoying the city. But we're in Jersey, so it's a bit more quiet, but we've been loving it.
That's where I'm in. Jersey's the best.
Yeah, we're enjoying the spot. Definitely more quiet than Manhattan's.
It is. And it seems more your speed, right? You're a low-key guy.
For sure.
And obviously you've got some increased promotional responsibilities now as the champion. How are you kind of adjusting to that element of being a champ where it's not just you got to worry about training. There was always a promotional element, but now it's all on you. You're a big guy now.
Yeah, no, I'm proud to be a champion, so happy to carry the weight of that, and I'm excited. It's a big fight, so I'm excited to get more eyes on the fight, but just enjoying it.
And obviously you had so many eyes on you when you won that championship. That was an amazing fight of the year caliber against Belal Muhammed in May, winning the title. That was your first time fighting past 15 minutes too. How did it kind of feel adjusting to fighting longer and actually doing it? And did you learn anything about yourself in that way?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely learned that I'm able to stay in there in a tough fight, keep pushing for 5 rounds. Had a good camp, felt fit. I definitely felt I could get through the 5 rounds, but I guess you don't know until I knew. Obviously in training I could get through the 5 rounds, but how are you going to go when the lights are on? Big fight, but got through. So definitely learned that I can push the pace for 5 rounds, no problem.
And that was a grueling fight. Like this is not just like a we've seen point fighting type of 25-minute fights. You guys were throwing everything you had at each other for 25 minutes. I mean, what did you have to do to kind of gut out in those later rounds where your body is not as adjusted to fighting so late, like especially with the pace?
I mean, I felt like it was my sort of fight, like it was my pace, so I felt like I dictated the pace, so I had no problems. I felt like it was my pace, so I could do that all day. I reckon I had another 5 rounds in me that night.
Now, obviously, there was a lot of a curiosity, I guess, in terms of the way Belal Muhammad fought in that fight. Even DC after round 2 was saying, like, I don't think Belal's fighting the right fight. He was kind of fighting on what people would have thought of as your terms, right?
Yeah.
Keeping it striking. Did that surprise you?
Not really. I felt like we had a good game plan and we had different tricks to try and avoid them, make him at least second guess the grappling, but he was talking a lot about his Canelo hands, so I thought he was going to test the feet a bit, and he did, so props to him, but I showed him who the real boxing king of the welterweights are.
Absolutely. So how does he feel relative to some of these other punches you felt in there? Because obviously he did land some good shots here and there. You landed probably most of the best ones in there as well.
Yeah,
you got the win, but you hit it.
He definitely landed some good shots. He wasn't definitely not the hardest hitter I've ever fought, but he has a tough style to very awkward. He doesn't really, he swap stances a lot. Hard to get a gauge on him, but he didn't hit me very hard, to be honest. It was just, he did hit me a few times. But I've been in there with more powerful punches.
When you're in there in a fight like that, sometimes fighters will say, like, I enjoy fighting. And some of them will say, I don't really enjoy this. Like, were you enjoying yourself in there?
Yeah, I was living the dream, fighting for a world title. Had some of my closest people there supporting. So I was really embracing. I loved every moment of it.
The defensive wrestling and grappling that we saw from you, I think was the most eye-opening for people, right? Obviously, it's not like you've been deficient in that area throughout your career, but especially coming off of the fight against Gilbert Burns, there was a lot of speculation about, maybe, especially with Belal Muhammad's skill set, leaning that way. You surprised a lot of people the way you did that. I mean, have you had any sort of breakthroughs in the way you did, defensive wrestling or grappling? Were there any sort of particular aha moments over the last year plus or so for you?
I mean, it's been a big part of what I've been doing, like a lot of grappling. There's a lot of good grapplers in the division. So there's a lot of a lot of hard grappling rounds, trying to get better every day at grappling. But we sort of set a couple of tricks and stuff that we thought would work, and they did come off well. Craig Jones, the team, helped me out a lot, so had a few tricks in the back pocket that we pulled out in the fight, but got us back to the feet, or at least kept it on the feet.
And obviously the skills of your opponent for that fight are not entirely dissimilar from your opponent coming up in Islam Makhachev. He does his best when he's able to get the fight down. You've worked with Craig Jones, of course, famously in terms of improving in that area and that kind of thing. Where does his impact kind of help you the most when you're preparing for an opponent like both of these guys?
I mean, yeah, he just instills confidence. He doesn't try and change too much, you know. He sort of looks at my style and then sees what will work, and then we sort of just, he doesn't try to change too much, just sort of a little small changes, small ideas that will work, but we feel like we've got another good game plan. I feel like I've got some good tricks. Obviously, Islam's very good on the floor, a good finisher, definitely probably a better finisher than Belal, no doubt. So, but I feel like I can, again, shock the world in the grappling department, keep it on the feet, and get the win.
Sure. Now, you were talking recently with Israel Adesanya, of course, the great champion from your region of the world, on the other side of the world from where you are right now. And you were talking about kind of just the wrestling element and that kind of thing, and how never stop moving is kind of a key element of countering that. How much are you able to kind of adjust that and maybe potentially add that to your strategy in this fight versus like your normal, typical way that you tend to fight?
I mean, it's similar. I think, not stop moving. I think Islam, if he can get on top of you and you give him time to sort of get to better positions, I think he'll just keep getting to better positions until he can get the finish. I think keeping moving, never letting a position really settle is going to be a key to the victory.
Now, Ben Vickers, he just a few days later, your coach was talking already about, he's going to knock out Islam Makhachev. This was just days after you won the belt. So your guys are already excited and looking forward to that next challenge, which you guys saw as looming, right? I think everyone knew it was kind of heading that way, right?
Yeah, it was pretty, 100%. That was what the talk was. If I won, it was Islam. And then pretty much straight away, we knew that was the fight that was going to happen.
And of course, he said, I think he's going to knock him out. I mean, when you hear that, does that... how much pressure and how much confidence does that give you? I mean, each one.
Yeah, for sure. I always trust Ben's words. I feel like he never, shies away from the truth. He says what he sees, and so hearing him say that, I believe I can do it, and that's what I'm gunning for.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, of course, one of Islam coaches and a legend in this sport, right? He has said that you are the toughest challenge that Islam faces. That not Ilya, not any of these other guys. When you hear that, I mean, would you agree? And why would you agree?
I mean, I guess, I do agree. I think being the champion of an upper weight class, it is definitely the biggest challenge of his career, you know. Going up, not many people have been able to go in and secure the second belt, so it's a big challenge for him. So I think they obviously aren't taking that lightly. And Khabib's obviously a legend in the sport. To hear that is nice words.
Now, of course, you bring that up. You bring up the size and that kind of thing, and there's been a lot made of the size difference here. I mean, is there an element of maybe we're overplaying the size advantage, or do you think it's pretty much appropriate?
I mean, I think it's going to be better for Islam. You know, I think cutting the weight, you can leave a lot of yourself in the weight cut. So I expect the best Islam coming up. I think he'll be fresher, bigger, stronger.
How big of a welterweight are you? How much do you walk around or maybe come to the cage with?
I don't think I'm very big. It's not like a crazy weight cut for me. I can sneak a few slices of pizza in today and I'll make the weight fine.
Okay. Interesting. So that's interesting. You don't see a lot of you see a lot of weight bullies sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And that's obviously not you, is what you're saying.
I mean, obviously there is a bit of a weight cut there, but it's a pretty simple process. Friday morning, take a couple of hours, drop the last little bit. But no, I think I'm a good size welterweight. Not,
A lot of people wanted to see Islam fight Ilia Topuria rather than move up. They wanted to see that fight stay down and maybe stay in that weight class a little bit longer. What do you take yourself out of the equation if you can, right? Because obviously you get to fight him as a result. But if it wasn't you, do you think he's making the right call to move up, or do you think 155 should have been a better spot for him a little longer?
For Islam?
For Islam.
Yeah, I think it's good for him to move up. You know, I think obviously he was big weight cut for him. He's obviously getting bigger, growing. I think it's a good move for him. I just think it's bad timing.
And obviously there's a lot of there's basically like two ways that we see champions kind of go about their careers, right? There are fighters like Islam, like Ilya. They win a belt, maybe they'll defend it a couple times, that they're interested in getting to another belt. Then you've got these other champions like Murad Dvalishvili and Alexandre Pantoja. They're very content to put together lengthy
Yeah.
runs, defending, defending, defending. Where do you see yourself?
I would like to be a defending champion. I think I like to see a champion sort of at least like clean out a lot of the top 10 guys before moving up. After all, it can kind of wreck a division. So respect what Islam's done. I think he's moved up at a good time. You know, he's done good work at lightweight. Might be coming into his last few fights, I would imagine. So I think it's a good time. I respect what he's done. Cleaned out the division, moved up.
He went about it the right way.
I believe so, yeah. And I'll try and do this. I'll try and defend my belt multiple times before even considering changing division.
I mean, I understand. I don't want to get too far ahead of you, right? Because obviously you're content here. You're saying you're not the biggest of welterweights, but I mean, is middleweight something that could be on the horizon for you one day?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Yeah, I would like to fight Khamzat Chimaev at one point if my career goes well. It'd be a good challenge. Yeah.
Unless he's moved up by then, he might
Yeah,
be able to
exactly.
go by, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to look too far ahead, but there's a lot of good challenges in the welterweight at the moment. I think this fight and the following week obviously has good welterweight fights. So I think from that we'll see who emerges as the top contender.
We were talking before this about Alex Volkanovski, right? And obviously he is a major figure in this sport in your country in particular. He had kind words in private for me about you. And now you're at the point where not only are you a champion at the same time, so you're training for this fight with him. What is it like for you to have gone on this arc that's gotten you to that point alongside of a great in the sport?
Yeah, he's a real inspiration for me. What he's done in the sport as an Australian, probably one of our best champions, you know. Robert Whittaker is a legend. He inspired me as well, but what Volk has done is pretty unbelievable, and he's definitely seeing what he's done, gave myself more belief and has motivated me a lot. And now even just to be able to be in the same room with him, see how he works, learn from him is a really dream come true. I have to pinch myself even just being able to chat to someone like him.
Is there a particular lesson or like something you've just even observed about him that really stands out that you aspire to or have already integrated?
Probably just generally his hard work. He works really hard, you know, and it's obvious that's obviously why he's where he is. But yeah, just seeing him work tirelessly, especially how like he's an older guy, but he still just works so hard. So that's sort of pretty inspiring, and yeah, definitely lit a fire for me. Like knowing what I have to do to retain the belt and have a good long championship career.
And you've gotten to this point in not in record time, but I mean, you just turned 29. I mean, you're not an old guy in the sport. You're one of the youngest champions here.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's almost like you've had a long journey too. It's been 10 years, but is it kind of funny to you that like you've gotten here at such a young point in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been doing my thing, like pushing hard, I've always aspired to fight the toughest guys I could at the time. And I think that worked in my favor to get to this point at the age I am, always looking for the toughest challenge I could take and taking it head on. And yes, I'm blessed to be where I am. I believe I've got a lot more to give in the sport. So a lot of title defenses to come.
And, you know, your career, maybe not everybody knows this. You lost your first 2 fights, both by finish too. You know, I mean, when you're going through that as a young guy, you weren't 20 yet, you were a teenager still.
Yeah.
When you're going through that and, you know, your confidence ought to be high and it's a point of building confidence, that kind of thing. And then you go through kind of that adversity. How far away does this title here feel to you in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like forever away, you know. I just wanted to get a winning record was sort of my first goal, get 3 wins basically, but just had a strong team behind me that I really trusted, and they always instilled in me belief that I could at least, you know, get to get to the top of the Australian scene. So yeah, just been on it day in, day out, trying to get better. But yeah, definitely the 2 losses were tough, but just my strong team instilled a lot of belief in me.
Last question I have for you is, when did this start to be the goal? Because you obviously, you're talking about kind of smaller goals, smaller steps and that kind of thing. When did this look like something that's like, yeah, might be able to get there?
I mean, I guess it was just getting into the UFC. You know, I never wanted to get into the UFC and just have a couple wins, have a couple of losses. My goal was always to get into the UFC and then get to the top of it, you know, and I used the same sort of blueprint I used to get to the top of the Australian MMA scene, to get to the top of the world.
All right. Well, listen, that was everything I had for you, Jack. So thank you very much. And I wish you the very best in your fight next week.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.